Welcome back to the Damn What Now podcast.
What? I just want to roll right with a jump.
Welcome back. You tuned in.
Don't play with it. Don't play with
it. Four goats.
Welcome back.
The four blessed.
They might say three-headed goat, but it's a four-headed goat.
Four-headed goats.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for coming back. Thanks for watching.
Welcome to the podcast curated for African
girls. Not girls, just curated for African.
Curated for Africans.
Yes.
Period. Come, we accept you
and actually, all
even
cultures.
If you're not African,
we are multicultural.
Literally.
Views.
Our diaspora is grand and vast.
100%.
Come sit with us. Come listen with us. Come talk with us.
Yeah.
I just want to.
But yeah, guys. So how was everybody's weeks?
Oh,
this week flew so fast by me. I feel like
this week was. It was a week.
Come on, we gotta give some more than that.
Come on now.
Give me some more of that.
This week was pretty difficult for me. Very, making hard decisions and just figuring out what is and what's not best for me in the season that I'm in right now. And still learning as I go. So, yeah, it's just where we're at right now.
How was your week, Val?
My week was good. It was fine.
Okay. You want to give specifics?
I dropped my parents off at the airport. I had a good week.
Pretty good. Okay. Well,
Stephanie?
My week? I'm glad it went by so fast because I don't even remember what happened this week. What was I doing? I feel like I was very quiet this week. I was working a lot. When I go to work, I just stay quiet and listen to podcasts. So it was just a lot of being quiet, sleeping. Like it was a lot of repetition.
I feel like that could be so mentally because I be thinking a lot.
That's why
a lot of thoughts go in my head. Even if I'm listening to music, you know how sometimes you just get sick of listening to music, even if it's the song that you play I play the same songs all the time, so that's probably why I get sick.
We heard.
But even with podcasts too, sometimes it could be a good podcast, but it's just I'm just not in the mood to listen to anything. But then I'm not in the mood to listen to nothing. So what am I? Or listen to my own thoughts. So what am I gonna?
I just like having that chatter in my head, just sometimes I'll listen in, sometimes I zone out, but I don't know, just working while listening to podcasts. I just started doing that. Before I'd only listen to music or whatever, but my boyfriend was I listen to podcasts while I work. And I'm
I've been doing that, and you never tried that.
It's good. It's good to do that.
And I even asked you, I was like, can you give me, and I started listening to the Know For Sure podcast.
Yeah, because
there's this one part, I'll give it to you after because I forgot what it's called, but it's a really good podcast. There's a lot of very good Christian-based podcast. You Melissa, you know the one with the two guys? That one is really good because they have that on Spotify.
I think I know what you're talking about. The two guys, I've seen you listen.
Just different podcasts.
Oh my God, love that.
Yeah, that podcast is actually really good. I like listening to that.
Right.
Or just healing ones in general where people just give advice. And
some healing ones I've been listening to is I don't know if the Brown Girl Experience.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
Where they basically just talk about how to deal with money or just I'm not sure because I'm confusing. There's two other podcasts.
No, I know what you're talking about. Actually, let me just
look it up because I was literally just listening.
Wait,
let's compare podcasts.
There's this one podcast
that we listen to.
Let's do that. There's this one podcast.
I listen to Pressed podcast. You guys know
that's
Nella
the UK
Rose,
one, right?
Yeah.
Nella Rose. I listen to her. Is it Cocktail?
Oh, that one, Cocktails. Yes, love them. I love her, not them.
How do you see the podcast that you recently listened to?
But a funny
on
one
podcasts
is Don't Call Me White Girl. I think she's really funny. You know that girl?
No.
Yeah, I don't think you listen.
Obviously,
to
the 85 South Show.
In the Room.
I love Women Evolve.
You should listen to that one too.
No, it's called Brown Girl Self Care Podcast. That's what it's called.
Melissa, you should listen to that one too. In the Room. It's this. I think it's 2 or 3 girls, and it's like a Christian-based podcast or whatever.
But what was the name of the guys?
Just different.
Just different.
There was one where the first one I listened to was where they were talking about why are we born into sin but expected to change, and that one was actually really.
We should listen to Women Involved by Sarah Jakes Roberts. Yeah.
Women Involved?
Evolve.
Revolve.
Evolve, not revolve.
Oh,
Evolve.
Evolve.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. You guys let us know what podcast you guys have listened to.
Right, in the comments. Obviously, ours, if you're watching this.
Jesus and Jollof.
Jesus and Jollof?
Yes.
That's a good song.
Becoming the One.
Oh my God.
But yeah, listening to podcasts is always... It's like... if I do like Instacart or something, instead of listening to music, I listen to podcasts.
Or that, or listen to the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that actually helps me because I'm like, oh my God, like.
I feel like we really stepped into a podcast era. Like everyone's
podcasts. Yeah.
You can't start a podcast without stepping into a podcast area.
Yeah. I know.
Like you wouldn't even know what you're doing.
No, yeah, you wouldn't. I feel like you would have to. I feel like I've been listening to podcasts now for 3 years now.
Really?
Yeah. I started them before it was like a trend. Like everyone just started last or 2021, 2022.
The coronavirus.
Yeah. But like I love listening to podcasts because I used to listen to like a lot of podcasts where just like they tell you like random information, like because I love fun facts. Yeah. I love my little tiny fun facts.
More SAT words in the book. So
I love my fun facts. I like learning about new stuff. So like, yeah, those are fun to listen to.
How was your week, Melissa?
My week has been crazy. Mostly because God's been speaking a lot to me. Because I asked him, I was like, well, I think it was 2-3 weeks back, I had come to a realization that like, I want to spend more time with God. Because he told me the things that I'm seeking for, he has something bigger than what I think I should have. So I'm like, okay, I'm curious. Like, what do you want me to have? Like, what? But yeah, I've been seeking more of a deeper relationship with God. And this week has been speaking to me. Like, Sophie knows.
Yeah.
So, like...
Why are you looking at me like that?
No, like, some of the things, like, this week... I'll give a quick example. A little quick thing, But, I had a vision. It is a vision. Because God had told me that he will give me the gift to heal. And I was like, okay, cool. But before he told me that, he was like, look up what your name means. So I looked up what my name means, and it was Melissa means honey, and honey is medicinal. So it's like you're like whoever you encounter is gonna be like they'll have like a smooth sailing life, or like the healing will come to them. So I was like, okay, cool. And then he placed that like the healing thing, and then I've been having like multiple like dreams about like me like healing people. And then this week I had a dream because I was like, God, like I know like the thing that's stopping me from becoming closer to him or like evolving to that is because of my anxiety and my fear, because I'm like, I don't want to see all that, like all that angels and stuff. That's
too scary.
Take slow. But yeah, so I was like, yeah, like I honestly told her, I'm like, yeah, I'm scared. So I was sleeping and I had a dream, and it was basically I was stuck with 2 other girls in the building I live in. I was stuck in the elevator. And this man came in with us, and he looked very scary, and he started decapitating like the people near me, and he looked at me and he was like, run. And I woke up and I was so scared, and then I like immediately like put my blanket over me, and then God was like, why are you hiding? And I'm like, because I'm scared. Like, what do you mean why I'm hiding? And he's like, look the other side. I'm like, nah, you playing with me. I'm not looking the other side. What are you talking about? Look the other side. So I looked the other side, and I was like, okay, can you let me sleep? Because I could not sleep at that time. It was like 4 o'clock. I was like, I don't feel like sleeping. So I finally, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna watch Netflix. He was like, no, go on YouTube. I'm like, for what? So I go on YouTube and I was like scrolling, and I saw like, it was like the 4th thing. It said, come out of hiding. And I was like, okay.
He's not trying to let you go.
Okay. And he was just talking about like you're letting fear and anxiety stop you from building something that God wants. And then I went to like this Bible study, a life thing, and they were talking about the gifts that God is going to bless you with, like God has for you. And I don't know, everything has just been tying together. But yeah, he's been speaking to me heavy.
And that definitely ties into the episode the main topic we're talking about today is our testimonials.
Yes.
So,
where to begin? I guess, do you want to like tell them how we each got our own?
We could say our individual testimonies. You want to start yours?
Me? I mean, okay, fine. I'll go first.
It's whatever you want. You want to start.
Okay, this is about to be a trying episode. So lately, let me start with something good off first. A while back ago at church, I received this, I guess you could say prophecy. And basically I was told that, I was seeing like there's a messy room and there's an angel coming in basically organizing all the disorder in the room and just basically bringing order back into my life. And ever since I received that, like I've slowly been seeing like steps working towards like things that I've been worried about and stressed about coming to like basically like working themselves out. Like I used to be like super stressed about everything, and I used to like really be going through it. Like I used to like really go through it, and I feel like God really has been speaking to me in ways like, just sort of like through my prayer life. Like I'll pray for certain things, and it's like after a while it's like I see it come to fruition, or he's showing me signs that, oh, this is what you need to do. And I definitely have been feeling that angel organizing my life. God bless. Like I've really been going through it, but like lately I've been feeling like I have more, because I've become so more reliant on God. I feel like now he's blessing me in his little ways by showing me like, you should have been doing this the whole time. You should have been, come seek me first and seek me out. And all that I've been worrying about, I'm slowly feeling it like I've been putting all my problems on him. Right. I've been like leaving him to figure out what I need to do and letting him order my steps for me. So I've just been trying to take it a day at a time, just trusting in his time and not trying to like rush anything. Or because one thing about God, he's proactive in his work, so he's not gonna like, I might not see a reason like why is this happening, like he's proactive, like, oh, he's gonna get this done before anything bad happens. Right. But I'm thinking like, why is he doing this?
Exactly.
Like, or like, like how he's removing certain people, like, why are you moving? I like that person, but he's proactive, like he's trying to remove that person before,
that's the one.
Or remove that situation before it even causes harm on me. So while I've just been relying on him and letting him, he knows best. He knows what I need. So just trusting in him. Yeah. But that's me. He's definitely been in my life, and I love that.
And to go from what you said, like removing people out of our lives, I think we are in a season where like, me and Sophie are, where like he's been removing people out of our lives, but I feel like, well, for me, it's been happening more. Like I feel like, based on my friend groups, like there has been people who've just been taken out. I'm like, but why? But when me looking back at it, I'm like, they were taken off because he's leaving room for more. Right. Like he knows there's a greater blessing, and they're not, it doesn't fit. That puzzle does not fit here in the particular place that you have to go to. But yeah, I feel like the people he's removed out of my life is just like, I'm in a level of I'm willing to correct and to grow, and they were not. And they're pushing me back. And every single time that happens, like from the people I've lost recently, I can still see growth now. I'm like, okay, that wouldn't be able to happen because they were hindering something from moving forward. Like it was like a step to unlock, and it's just
like.
And I feel like
you can go ahead.
I feel like sometimes when it comes to that, like Melissa said, sometimes you can ask yourself like why, but also it's like you don't even once he removes those people, or like once you're out of that situation, you start to look back at like whatever like relationship it was, and you realize like, damn, like they really were not good people, like, but you were blinded by the fact that you wanted to continue that like relationship with that person. So it was in that moment, it was like, oh, I don't care, because it's fun, but it's fun, yeah, but is fun always gonna be fun? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
like one thing about God, like yes, he's like, I feel like we're so focused on what he's taking away, but he always replaces with something better.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes I'm like, we can all get caught up in the moment. Sometimes like we're too focused on what we're losing, and instead of like focusing, like I know he's gonna bless me with something 10 times better, bless me with people 10 times better, situation 10 times better. So yeah, one thing about him, he's gonna deliver. Is just be patient, guys. Just trust in his process.
100%.
Trust in his steps.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. I feel like for my testimony, it's for me, like obviously he has done a lot of things in my life, and he will continue to do a lot of things, but one of the things that I didn't even notice until like later was just, well, this is open and transparent thing. So I just hope my parents don't watch this video. I'll be like, oh, well, I was delivered, so amen. But I definitely used to have a problem when it came to smoking marijuana. I feel like anybody on this couch could tell you. I used to do it, especially even like when I met Melissa, because I met Melissa like freshman year of college. I used to like smoke like every day, and it would be like, it wouldn't be like multiple times a day. Maybe it would just be like every day, like, no, sometimes it would be multiple times a day. Who am I telling? It would be like, because I was about to explain, it would be like, well, that's multiple times a day. It would be like during the day, or sometimes I would do it at night, and then I had started to convince myself that I couldn't sleep without doing it, which obviously is a lie. And not until, to be honest, I couldn't even tell you when the last time I smoked was, because I don't remember. But I didn't even realize I had stopped for that long until like a month in, and I was like, oh wow. But also it was like a prayer that was answered that I didn't expect to be answered so fast, or at least in the way that it was answered. But I'm happy that it was answered that way, because for me, like, that was something that I knew I wanted to stop. I just didn't know how. And it was harder to do on my own. And when you have God in it to do it with you, it becomes so easy. So that's why it's like, for me, like when people ask like a testimony, it's like, yeah, that's a testimony, like, but it was so easy that it didn't feel like it was something that I had to struggle with, because I know that addiction is something that a lot of people struggle with, and it's so hard. Like, it's easier said than done, because I could have, like, even looking back, I can't look at my past self and be like, just stop. Like, it's so easy, just stop. Because when you think about it, it's like, oh, I could stop. Like, that's what people say all the time when they smoke. They're like, I could stop whenever I want to stop. But it's harder than that. It's literally like a mental battle. But when you have somebody there to fight it with you, it's so much more easier. And it just brings more peace to the situation, to where it's like, you're not alone in this. and you don't have to sit here through this, and you know, and like in the past when I have stopped like smoke, like I used to take like tolerance breaks and stuff like that. When I used to do that, like I would have like withdrawals, like I couldn't sleep at night, it would be hard for me to eat, all that stuff. But like I said, I don't remember when the last time I smoked was, because I don't even remember that I had withdrawals. Like I don't remember not being able to sleep, not being able to do certain things. And it's crazy to me because it's like he answered that prayer. And because when I prayed about it like multiple times, and I was like, I just need you to help me stop. Because it would be crazy because I would pray to stop doing this, and then the next day I would do it, and then the next day I would be like, I need to stop doing this. And then he finally like made me stop doing it, and it was like, oh wait, really? Like, you know, it was like a shocking thing, and it was not even something that when I figured out I had stopped, it was not even something I was even praying about anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? But that's why they say God knows your heart. Like he knows what's best for you. And I feel like him making me, you know, delivering me from that at least at the place that I'm at, I'm like very grateful, because now I can look back and be like, you know, like things happen for a reason, and you go through all those things. Like I said, like I don't really necessarily regret a lot of things, but I do regret not looking for God in certain situations, rather than looking for outward like resources. And you know, and it helps a lot when you have like, you know, people around you who are pushing you to do that, rather than like, it would be different if all of y'all were smoking and I'm the only one who's praying for that deliverance, because then you can't surround you. It's gonna be so hard, because then you guys would probably be like, oh nah, like why are you trying to like stop? So, you know, it's good to have that, and you know, I'm very happy.
It's so funny because when you were saying that, what came into my like mind is that God's grace is upon you, because even with the prophetic word that you got was people. You're doing things that people are trying to do. So it just shows that on your life, like there's a prophetic grace on your life. Like it's just, to you, it just seems so easy. Yeah. And people are struggling to get there, but they're not. Yeah. And what you're saying is like, like when you're saying that people are chasing, like, you know, when people smoke, they're chasing something, like, you know, it's a sense of what we were talking about, well, what Pastor was talking about in church today. He was talking about joy, and how the enemy, he puts joy is the what's the word? It perpetuates faith, right? And the enemy gives you happiness to stop you from chasing that joy, because happiness is a temporary thing. Yeah. And you can only get joy from God. So happiness is like from your car and, you know, all these things, of materialistic things. And it just lasts, like when you're high, it's just a few. Yeah. Like a few hours, so it's just, and but when you're chasing God's joy, or not chasing, but when you have God's joy in your life, it's something that's like not, endless. It's just like, okay, I don't need that anymore. Like it's not something that's fulfilling me anymore, because that's just temporary happiness.
And that's also like, just to add on that, like even like now, if like people offer me to like do it, it's so like I say no, and a part of me is, because like back then I probably would be like, nah, I don't want to, or nah, let me just do it just because like I do want to be high. But now it's like I say no because I'm so proud of myself for getting to the point that I'm at, that it's like I wouldn't it would be a waste of time to even just throw that in the trash. And I know that it's not even going to fulfill me the way I feel now. Yeah. Like when I tell you, like even when I did used to smoke, like like for example, like when I used to sleep at night, my sleeps would not even be that good. But when I tell you now, like I knock out, and like I have like the best sleep ever. Like I wake up and I feel completely fine. Like sometimes I wouldn't even be able to like go throughout the day without doing it. Like if I feel upset, especially if I'm sad, like that's one of the reasons I would do it all the time, is like if I'm really sad. But now when I'm sad, I just pray, or I know how to make myself feel better. So I know how to like fulfill take care of myself in that way. So getting away from that addiction helped me learned myself a lot more to know my do's and don'ts in certain situations. So like, yeah, I would just say to anybody who is like struggling with it, I would say like, again, it's easier said than done, but definitely like pray about it as much as you can and talk to God as much as you can about it, because once you even put that, because he knows what's in your heart, so he probably knows you want to stop, but he's waiting for you to grant him
the chance
that chance to give you that that request. So I would say like definitely just pray about it as much as you can. And like obviously I made the mistake about praying about it, doing it the next day and going back and forth, but it's all about, again, I would also, like in my prayers, I would ask God not to just stop me from doing it, but for him to grant me the strength to where it's easy for me to do it. So I guess that's probably why I feel the way I feel now. I'm like, it's like I couldn't even, like it's just, so yeah, definitely I would say prayers work.
100%.
And he's listening to you, he's always there with you, and don't think he's not listening to you, because when you think he's not is when he's listening the most. Like
he's always ready to help.
Yeah, he's always ready. He just has to know that you're willing to receive what you're asking for, and obviously his timing is better than anyone's, so you just gotta wait for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I would say my testimony is.
What about you, Val?
Oh, can I go last? I gotta think about it.
Sure, no problem.
Well, child, my whole life is a testimony.
Amen.
I feel like, well, I don't even know where to start, because
Let's start somewhere recent.
if you keep going back, it's gonna keep going back.
There's a lot of testimonies.
There's a lot of yeah, but I feel like for a while, I've been running away from God, because I wasn't seeing the results in the time that I wanted it to be. So when things happen, and that's why like it goes back to like the joy thing. If you don't have joy, it can't fuel your faith.
Right.
So you lose sight of what could be because of you're looking on what is right now. But I feel like I'll start with, before I lost my mom got sick, and I had trouble with my mom being sick, and then my tuition, I don't know what to do with my tuition, and then also like the fact that like my family life is everyone's fighting, and I'm not close to my dad and all this other stuff. So I'm like, God, like my mom literally serves you. Like I'm telling you, my mom would wake up in the morning, 6:00 in the morning, pray for 2 hours, then have a night prayer, pray for that, be at church Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday, Sunday. And we would have to go with her. So I'm like, God, I've been serving you for all this time, and you're not why? It doesn't make sense. Like the person that you said, like, if we are in your presence and we seek you more, then we should be seeing results. Where are my results? So I think I just got frustrated with God, and the enemy was happy that I was frustrated with God, because he knew like the potential that I have when I'm with Christ, how far he wants to take me. So like he made that a distraction, because he was postponing the stuff that was going to happen in order for me to lose faith and sight of what God could give me. So I stopped like before COVID. I was like, nah, I'm not even gonna try. Like, it was a peace out, God. Like, you do your thing. I believe you're there, but you're not working for me. Right. So I stopped believing in God. Then even though I stopped believing in him, he was still working in my life, which made me like, I'm like, why is he like, what? I left you. What are you doing? And it just goes back to the verse, like he leaves everybody to chase the one. So like, yeah, so during COVID, I stopped serving God, and I was just like, I'm gonna just do my own thing. I'm a party. I'm a drink, do anything I want. I'm a do me. And then my mom kept getting sicker, but then I couldn't pay my tuition because my dad wasn't sending money. So I was like, okay, cool. Thanks God. Like, see, like this is your problem. And then I wasn't supposed to, actually sophomore year, I wasn't supposed to come back to school because like they're like, yeah, you haven't paid since the fall semester. So you have fall, spring not paid, and you still have the freshman year bill. So I was like, guess I'm not going to school. But it's so funny because before I went to when I came to college, every single day I prayed. I was like, God, you're going to provide a scholarship for me. I don't know how you're going to do it, but you're going to provide. I am not dropping out of school. And that was my prayer every single night. I'm kid you not. That was my prayer every night. And then I'm in that like situation where like, I'm in debt. Like I can't pay this. And then the school sends me an email and they're like, yeah, we paid everything. You're fine.
Amen.
And I'm like, okay, God, but I'm mad at you. Like, why would you do this? Why would you answer my prayer that I've been prayed in high school right now in the time where I don't see the value in you, but you're still seeking me? So within that, I was like, okay, I cried. I was like, like, this is a lot. Like, you're still seeking me, which is crazy. But then I still was losing inside of him because, again, there's so many things coming at me. I'm like, okay, that's a light, but the light is being like, it's being guarded because of all the stuff surrounding it. So I'm like, okay, cool. And then within that, I was like, we went to Miami. And that's when I completely, like, when I went to Miami last, was it?
That was sophomore year Memorial Day week.
Yeah. How I really had lost sight of God in every single shape and form. Because my mom was getting sicker, and I was like, what in the world? So I was like, you know what? Screw him. And then I got into a car accident. Mind you, I was sitting in the back, didn't have a seatbelt on, which is extremely not. Put on your damn seatbelts, please. Didn't have a seatbelt on. I flew to the front, banged my head in the front multiple times. Literally, the nurses told me, they're like, yeah, you were supposed to be paralyzed or something. Like, the impact that you took on that day, you are supposed to be paralyzed. But I walked out of the car walking fine. Perfectly fine. The only thing was, okay, I was bleeding and I had liver lacerations, which was the only thing. When people go through stuff like that and they cannot walk.
Right.
And it's the time that I literally was like, I hate you, God. That's the time he was like, okay, you hate me, I still love you.
Right.
I'm still gonna chase you. I'm gonna chase you. And he keeps chasing me. And I was like, okay, you keep chasing me. I still don't love you. I don't know what's wrong. Like, I still do not love you.
I love you by force.
And he said, like, for real, like, I still, and he kept saying, like, I love you. Then flash forward to that, to when my mom passed away, and I'm like, so you don't care. I was like, you took the only person that was rooting for you since the day she died. Like, God, I was mad, not for myself, but for my mom. Because to me, it was like, she served you. And on my way to the hospital, when I got the call, like, to come to the hospital, I literally was praying. I was like, God, I haven't talked to you in a while, but don't take her, take me. Why would you save me in that car accident and take her? The woman that serves you all the time, like, why would you take Why would you not take me?
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't. I just didn't understand why.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm driving, and they're like, yeah, she passed away. And after that, I had so much anger and bitterness to how her life ended because of how strong her faith in was with God. And then I lost my job, and I got COVID during during Christmas. So I spent Christmas alone in my room with no family members, and I lost my job, and I was like, well,
Now what?
now what? For real, now what? And I'm like, okay, with all that, I still have to go back to school. Don't know how I'm gonna pay all that money. I really, cause she was my financial support. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna pay that money. And I think what fueled me to, go back, like, in Christ is because I went to school and I had the worst panic attack of my life. Like, I literally was taking a test and I could not breathe. And I was like, there's nothing, no alcohol, no nothing, no parties that could do that's making me feel better. I still feel depressed. I feel sad. Like, there's an empty void in me, and I've tried so much. Like, I can't. There's nothing that's fulfilling to me. So then I started going to church, rededicating my life, and he's been there ever since. Like he's brought my happiness back. I don't struggle with depression anymore because of that. Don't have I'm still, God willing, and in Jesus' name, I've gotten over my anxiety. But yeah, it just comes to show, even when you think, that God has forgotten about you, and that because you've forgotten about him, it doesn't mean it's the same for him.
Yeah.
He will still chase you. In every circumstance, he will still chase you. But yeah, that's my testimony. My little snippet of my testimony.
I don't want to make this depressing.
Please. I mean, don't make it.
Oh,
Please,
she said,
speak.
please.
Speak your hearts.
So my testimony, I'm gonna just do this year because, yeah. So, no, I'm gonna do, okay, from this time last year, I'm gonna do it for me. Because, me this time last year was I was in a very bad place. I felt like God wasn't hearing me because I was praying for peace, and I was believing, I was praying so hard this time last year, every single day, God, please. Because one, it was after COVID, obviously, I went back to school, but I had transferred to a different school. So that school, I didn't know nobody, so I was alone. I was like, God, give me some friends. He gave me my friend Rita, girl, I love you, or whatever. And I was like, okay. And stuff at home was just insane, during this time last year. And then on top of that, I'm by myself. My friends are they're close. They're 5 minutes away from me. But I felt as though you guys are really far, and I just felt disconnected from everybody. So in that moment, I just felt really alone or whatever. And then I would just pray God, please, I don't want to feel like this, because all my life I've always had people around me, so I never felt physically alone. That's the first time I guess I felt physically alone, I know I'm not alone, obviously, but I just felt oh my fuck, I'm looking around, I'm going to school, I'm I don't know nobody here. My friends are not here, my mom is not here, my dad is not here. I'm fuck. Oh, I'm shit. Oh my God. And I'm praying to God because I guess all that time being alone in that dorm, I was just it gave me so much time to think about me and myself. And I didn't what I found out. It wasn't the best. So I got home, and this time, my relationship with my parents were very rocky. And it was just this one day, probably a week from today, this time last year, where I tried to take God's gift away from me. I literally almost tried to take my life away. So because I was like really upset and I didn't know what to do with it because I didn't know who to talk to about it. And I was like, and I guess that's where my testimony starts because like, it was like, I'm talking about I had locked myself in the room. Like I was ready to go. Like I'm tell you, like I was ready to go. I was at my lowest. I was like, God, like if today is the day, bro, like I'm literally ready to come. I'm just ready to go. I want this pain to go away. I remember it was so chaotic in my house that day. Like I was just like, God, just like I want this to stop. Like I know I don't want like, and then somebody like I just felt like a presence over me, right? And he was just like, no, like, you're not going. You're not going. And I was like, oh, like, I don't want to cry. But, like, I was like, oh, my God. And I have, like, a knife on one hand and I have my phone on the other hand. And I don't know how, but, like, everything was just, like, so much. And then, like, I called, like, I don't know who, I think I called the police. Like, I literally called the cops all myself because I was like, I don't want to go. I'm not ready to go. That's all I remember saying. And the operator was like, oh, whew, damn.
Oh, God, I'm about to cry.
Literally. Some napkins.
Okay.
Oh, Jesus.
So the operator was like, just stay on the phone, breathe. Like, I'm telling you, like, I'm gripping this thing, like, both things in my hands so tight. I'm like, I don't want to go, but, like, I wanted to go. But somebody was not letting me go. So I was like, shoot. And then, like, I remember my parents were downstairs. They were banging on my door. Like, the cops are here. And, like, the EMTs, like, they literally broke open my door because I did not have it in me to stand up. And, like, literally, like, I was just so stuck. Like, if you see my room, like, I'm literally just stuck in a corner just like this. Like, I was just, like, I don't know what happened. And then, like, I was, like, so, like, shook to the point where just, like, I couldn't stand up for myself. Like, the EMT, like, he literally, like, he picked me up. And he walked me to the ambulance. Like, I didn't even get to talk to my parents. Nobody. My brother was over there panicking. Like, I was just like, oh, my God. And, like, he took me to the van. And he was just like, I felt like he was my guardian angel, like, to this day. God bless that man. Because he was just like, just talk to me, and whatever. And in that moment, like, whenever, like, the only person that was, like, constantly calling me and checking up on me was my dad during, like, the whole time. And, like, it just so happened, like, they had the same name. His name was James.
Wow.
So we were... I don't think I told you guys this.
Oh, my goodness.
Chintzy, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So his name was, like, they had the same name, my dad or whatever. And there was a younger EMT there, but I wasn't paying attention to him. And he was just talking to me. He was just like, whatever it is, he was just like, you are meant to be here. You're here. I'm here with you.
God,
And I was like,
I'm trying to hold back the tears.
I don't want to make it sad.
This is a happy story because I'm so
No,
happy
this
you're
is,
here.
wow.
No, yeah.
This is a testimony to anyone else who can be listening. Like, you don't know who you can
Yes.
be.
Oh,
Oh,
my God.
thank you.
So, yeah. So he was just like, you know, you're meant to be here. Like, whatever it is, like, he just kept telling me, like, you are important. You're wanted. Like, I love you. He told me he loved me. Like, he just kept saying that. And I'm over here about to lose my shit. Like, I'm just like, why is this man telling me this? I don't know you. You just had the same name as my dad.
Wow.
Like, I literally don't know this man. And we get to the hospital. And I don't know if I hope y'all don't know this process. But for those that do, once you get there, they literally, like, obviously they had to check me in or whatever. They took everything away from me, like all my clothes, all my, like, my phone, everything. Because, you know, now you're on, like, they're watching you or whatever. When I tell you that EMT did not leave, like, he literally called, like, his boss and he was just like, I'm not leaving. Like, he was just like, I'm not leaving. And he stood outside of my door the whole time until my dad, like, until, like, the social worker and everybody was done, until my dad himself came to, like, sign the papers and everything. He was just like, hi, are you James? Like, is this your daughter? And I was like, yeah. And he picked me up and, like, like him and my dad hugged, and like that's the last time I ever seen that man. Like,
oh my God.
I was like, God, like you saved me. Because when I tell you in that moment, bro, like if that feeling, like I don't know, like I don't even know how to explain it. It felt like God was just screaming. Like I felt him like, no, like absolutely not. Like you're here, or whatever. And then like after that, it was just like, okay, you're not alone. Like I felt alone, like I physically was alone, but spiritually I was not alone. So it was just like, it just made me feel like I took so much more comfort in that, because I was just like, God shows up in different forms,
Yes.
like here and there, like
He really will.
he will go through that phone, through that, like he will come get you, he will collect you for real. He will come and say, Miss, this is not the right time. So
Jesus.
yeah, so like after that, it was just like I felt as though like I went back to school. Obviously, like I prayed, like I just got more into it. I was just like, I had nothing to say but thank you, because I was just like, in that moment, if I had did what I did and gone through it, then like I was just thinking about all the people I would have hurt, and like
And to think where you are right. Oh my God.
it would have been.
The thing is, because the enemy knows where God wants to take you, and he knew the potential you have right now, Valentine, right now.
Yo, it was just.
Do you know you're doing stuff that people are dreaming to accomplish right now?
From that point that where you were at,
He knew that's Lord.
The devil saw your potential and
He wanted to stop
And
it.
God is not a consequential God.
No.
It's not a coincidence that the EMT's name was James.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he's
like little things like that. It's not a
orderly.
coincidence.
And like they wouldn't let anybody in that hospital except for my dad. Like my mom couldn't come, my brother couldn't come. I know my other sister wanted to come, Rachel, she couldn't come. They said only my dad, because he was the only one that the other EMT said, like, because they thought like, I don't know, because like I guess I had said his name or something, and they said like that's the one she's comfortable with. Like they're like, bring her dad. Everybody else like no, because once you're in that spot, like they cannot let people see, like not anybody could just come see you. Literally, like you have to give the okay, or they have to feel like it's okay for that person to come. And it was just, it was a lot. Like this time last year, a girl went through it for real, but God was there and God said no. And like I took so much comfort in that, and I went into like much more into my faith in that, because now it's just like when I know I'm physically alone, or like I can't talk to anybody, like I know I'm not really alone. So I find so much more comfort in that, and I feel like that allowed me to grow and be like, that silence, that like you not talking to people is not a bad thing. Like you can find comfort in that, and I guess like that's my testimony for
Amen.
For now.
Amen.
Thank you, God.
And to say about that, like anybody who's dealing with, girl,
We've all had our share of depression here.
depression.
It's a real
blinding thing,
Like,
and suicidal thoughts. Like sometimes you're just in the car and you're just like, "Ooh, Lord," but
sometimes it just gets so overwhelming to the point where you're like, there's nothing else, and you feel like there's no other answer, but there is an answer, and He is the answer.
You know, also like with that, Jesus was tempted with suicide. Not a lot of people thinking like that. When he was, when God told him to fast, and he went, and the devil was tempting him, he said, "Jump." He said, "Jump. Maybe the angel will catch you." That's suicide. Right. So Jesus suffered for you, for all that. So he knows, he can relate to how you're feeling, and be like, no, I don't. That's why he said that day, you're not going. It's not your time. You have too many people to influence. You have so many. Oh my God!
And look how far He's brought you.
Right, and how far He's going to get you.
A year is literally like little time compared to like anything else. 12 months, like. Went by like a flash.
That's what I'm saying.
Like it went by like a flash. So sometimes you even think back, you're like, wow. Until you really sit there and really I'm here right now, the things that I've accomplished, I'm here right now. You can't even fathom that all that stuff went on, because it's like there's absolutely no way.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's real powerful, man. And I could just say he knows like how to really get you from those places. And then once you're out of those places, you don't even know how you got out of that place, but you're out. And all you can do, like you said, all you can say is thank you, because there's literally like, you don't even want to go back there anymore, because you know that he delivered you. So there's no point in bringing that back.
What do you feel like God has been trying to tell you guys lately? Because I feel like he's been screaming at me a little bit.
He's been screaming at me too.
He has.
I feel like right now he's trying to teach me a lesson, but I don't know what for. Well, no, I'm not going to say what for, but I don't know what how do I say? Like what the blessing would be after the lesson. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not really sure, but I know right now I'm in a season of him just teaching me a lot of things, and just trying to like, for example, I could say one thing, like last year when I did used to like work a lot, or even recently, like that CNA job or whatever, like we talked about that on like one of our other episodes, but like even like freshman year and sophomore year, like I would work and then I would do school, but like, and then I would also still try to have a social life, and then I would also still try to focus on myself. But for me, like I get like what's the word, like overstimulated easily. So like when a lot of things are going on, it becomes too much. So in that sense, my grades were like suffering for that reason. And now it's like I haven't worked in like, since school started. I could say like I'm about to end the semester without really like doing anything. And I think he's just trying to, because I've been praying about, because I want to become a clinical psychologist. So I've been praying about that, because getting into the doctorate program is hard, especially if you're not going to get a master's and you're just trying to jump in. It is hard, especially because my grades has suffered those past, especially like more specifically like freshman year. Now I think he's trying to answer that prayer for me, but with me not working, because I feel like he knows that I wouldn't be able to do both, especially like try to fulfill the lifestyle that I want to live. Like I'm trying to do the most right now when it's not really necessary to do the most. And I think that's probably, I'm assuming, I don't know, I think that that's part of the lesson, is he's just trying to let me reach the bigger goal rather than getting the smaller ones, because he knows those smaller ones are not going to mean anything once those months go by. So I think that's what he's trying to teach me, and trying to just let me like relax a little bit and just give me like grace in that. But then it's like, where's the money? Like, what am I gonna?
Where's it coming from?
What am I gonna do?
Let me know.
But like, it's so crazy, because even when I was saying that, like, I think it was like October or like September. No, it was like the beginning of October. I was saying that, I was like, bro, like, because I had got paid from, like, our last check from the CNA job. I had held that money since the last time we got paid up until, like, the beginning of October. Like, I swear, I stretched it out. Because I knew, I was like, I had it, like, the RBT job, but it was like, nothing was moving yet. So I didn't have, like, a definite answer of when I'm going to get money again. So I knew, I was like, all right, I have to stretch this out. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I sacrificed like a lot of like things, like I said before, like things that I would just try to do the most that were not necessary, like buying shoes that were $200 is not necessary. It's drip and dry, but not all the time. Like, it's okay. And like then a check came for me. Like my dad called me. He said a check came, because the day before I literally was praying to God. I was like, please, like, because I had to pay my car note. I was like, please, like, I need some. And that day I literally, because the night that I prayed that, the next day I was like, I'm about to do like Instacart, because I have to, like, there's no other way, because then my credit is going to suffer, and then it's just going to keep backtracking, because the payments are going to stack up. So what am I supposed to do? Feel me? So I was like, please God, like just please. I literally was praying. I was like, please let me have enough orders for Instacart so I wasn't even praying for him to just grant me money. I literally was praying for him to give me the orders that I could get so I could pay my car note, because my car note is like $202 a month. So it was like, I just need, and I think I had like $150 or something. So I literally I didn't even need like $202. I just needed like an extra, like I didn't care what I was gonna do. I didn't even care if there was no gas in my car. That needed to get paid. So I was praying for that. Then the next morning, my dad calls me. He's like, there's a check for you or whatever. And I'm like, from what? Like, I was like, a check from where? And I'm thinking it's some small check. I'm like, it's probably like some 60 cents. So I was not rushing to go home and to go open that check, because I was like, nah, like I need to go do Instacart. And then my mom called me. She was like, nah, like come open the check, because he said it was like from the U.S. Treasury. So I was like, I don't know what's going on. I came, I went home and I opened the check. I read it. I'm like, nah, I need to read this again.
Let me get some better lighting.
I'm like, hello? I'm like, shining the flashlight. I'm like, what does this number, is that a comma in the check? Like, what does this say? So it was a check, like my tax return, basically. And it was so odd that it came at that time. But again, God is not a consequence. Like, things don't happen for coincidence. Like, so with that, I was able to pay for my car note. I basically gave them like damn near all of, because I was like, I don't know again when I'm going to get, like, yes, this is a check, but like if I leave this to myself, that money's gonna go away in 2 seconds. So I was like, responsibly, I gave them the check. I was like, pay for this month and the next month, and put this in my savings account. So from now on, the upcoming, just take the money out, because that way I don't have to worry about that, because it's not necessary. So, you know, like stuff like, I feel like now there's, I don't know what lesson he's trying to teach.
It just goes like, back to like how in the Bible it says God will do exceedingly abundantly from what you will ask for. You literally just ask God, I just want like, you know,
some $50 more,
just $50. And he said, okay, 50 times.
Here's he's like,
comma.
Here's a pen. Yeah.
So,
that's wild.
And yeah, like just little things like, I think that like now that's what he's trying to teach me, is because back then I used to focus a lot on like materialistic things, and I think now he's trying to teach me like none of that. If you want to get to where you've been praying to get to, none of that stuff matters. And by the time you get to where you want to get to, it's not even going to be a question of do I have enough,
right?
So it's just going to be like, yeah, so, you know, I hope we continue to deliver me many more tax return checks.
Thank you.
Because that can only hold for a couple more months.
One more God.
So, yeah. But
I feel like right now, well, it's from my prophetic word that I got, it's actually so crazy how it's aligned. He told me that I should prepare myself because of what is to come, basically. And I feel like right now, my season of preparation is to remove any fear and just, I think the word that keeps coming to me is trust. Trust in him, trust in him. And like, there was a time when you weren't here, I woke up in the middle of the night. I don't get hot. Like, I don't get hot.
Yeah, Melissa gets the opposite of hot.
Up, it was steaming in the room. I'm like, what is wrong? I'm like, I'm struggling opening the window. I'm like, okay, I opened the window. I was like, okay, fine. I'm just going to go sleep back in my bed. Because I'm like, I'm not going to sleep in Sophie's bed. Like, that's weird. And I'm like, no, God, I'm not sleeping there. I'm like, I'm not sleeping in Sophie's bed. Like, that is not my, I need my bed. I need my bed. And he's like, no, you're going to stay. I'm like, but I don't like the change. And for me, it's like,
my heated blanket is not here.
I struggle with control. And he's been trying to like, because I feel like I'm so, even with like, time management and all this, like I just like having control because I don't like the unexpected, because that's just something that's just so frequent in my life. And he's been telling me to trust in him. And then that night when I had so much anxiety because of everything was going on. So I was like hot and if I was just having anxiety now, I literally closed my eyes. I was like, God, I trust you. And the minute that I said that, my anxiety just left. And I was sleeping. I woke up again because he gave me a dream, and somebody was saying, and they kept repeating hidden virtue, hidden virtue. I'm like, okay, it's something that God wants me to write down. I'm like, I don't know why he wants me to write it down. So I went to the bathroom, like, okay, maybe like he wants me to have a brand called Hidden Virtue. I'm like, but that doesn't make sense because like God's virtue is not hidden. So why would he give me the word hidden virtue? That doesn't make sense. And then the week afterwards, he gives me another word saying, come out of hiding. So it's like, he was trying to tell me my virtue is being hidden and I need to let that out. But I just feel like right now it's a season of preparation for me. Yeah.
As for me, I was talking to a little bit about Sophie about this and Rachel's sister. But lately, like for a few weeks now, I've been getting God's been telling me that you guys know that I don't have the best relationship with my parents. Like, I don't talk to them. But God has been telling me I need to go and speak to these people and forgive them. And when I tell you I've been ignoring, I've just been, because he's been so, the past couple times I've been to church, I just keep getting the same sermon. Honor their parents. You know, you live a fruitful life to those who honor your parents. And, you know, all good things come to those who would just, you know, honor their parents. And, you know, you guys know the relationship, like the past I've had with my parents. And, you know, lately I've just been feeling like I'm blocking something from myself because I refuse to go and sort of go and forgive my parents. And I was talking to Sophie about this a little bit, and like I said, he's been telling me this for weeks, and I feel like I'm trying to ignore it, but he's just like constantly, like I've been constantly getting dreams about my mom, constantly getting dreams, or just like put in situations just like, damn, like I need to go talk to I need to go forgive my parents, like especially with how things ended. It ended with me, like obviously ended like on I've spoken about this like even like towards the beginning of the episodes, but I've just removed myself from them, and while I've been removed from them, I've been working on myself, and it's been so much easier working on myself because I don't have that sort of like their presence sort of like dampening on me. And I just, after working on myself, I feel like, damn, you know, in the Bible it says like it's not like godly to hold that grudge or hatred towards anyone. So it's like, how can I continue and grow and heal myself when I'm still holding this resentment and anger towards my parents?
It's blocking your blessing.
And so he's just been telling me like, Stephanie, you need to go and forgive them. Like, it doesn't matter what but you yourself need to go and just sort of like have that communication, or just sort of just like be there. And while I was talking to your sister about it, you know, she also told me her experience, and she basically told me like, you know, yes, they may not understand or they may not acknowledge anything that, you know, they may have done or how they made me feel, but I sort of need to understand that I need to do this for myself. Like, I'm not forgiving them for them, but I'm forgiving them for myself, so I can continue to grow and become fully in God's image of what he has for me. And I've just been, I'm not gonna lie, like, yes, I know this is what it's telling me, but I'm not gonna lie, I'm still ignoring it. Like, I feel like I'm sorry, God, put it down. Like, really, like, I really don't want to do this, but it's like I've been
just being honest, you know.
Like, this is where I'm at.
I'm like, God, like, please bless me, allow me. I've been praying for him to like help me grow, help me like fully become healed. And it's like, while I'm asking for these prayers, like, he's like, don't ask for this prayer if you don't want it. You pray for something, give it to you. And it's like, when you pray for things and you get nervous, like, damn, now, like, I wasn't ready for it. Like, he like, sometimes because for God, I feel like He gives you easy solutions. Like when I pray for things, He gives you His solutions are so
And we're like,
simple.
nah, wow.
But it's like we make them complicated.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like I asked for this, and now He's giving it to me, and it's like, well, I don't want to do it, to be honest. like literally, His solutions can be so like we always feel like His messages are going to be so intricate,
Yes.
so detailed. Have these part A, 1A, 1B, 1, 2, and it's like no, like all you have to do is. Do as
Just
he
do
says.
it.
Just do what he says. And I know it's literally just do as he says, and all things will unfold the way that they need to in order for things to become whole or whatever. And I've been having so much anxiety about just finally coming and finally having that tough conversation. But
Yeah. I feel like with that, because she told me that like today on the ride back, and I immediately I was like, Stephanie, because obviously I was with her throughout all of those things, and for me, I told her, I was like, it's hard for me to take my emotion out of your situation because I know how they made you feel, so I can't even like tell you like, because my answer, honestly, truthfully, I would say no. But I know that it's, again, I think that it's the complete right thing to do. So that's why it's hard for me to tell you no, because it shouldn't be no. Because I do agree that you do need to forgive them.
Yeah.
And like, even I told you, like for me, I forgave my parents, but it was never like we sat down and had like a conversation. It was more so I found peace within it in myself to where I was like, it's okay. And it's like, it's fine. So forgiving them brought me peace to where now our relationship, I would say, is way better than what it was like 2 years ago, because it was a grudge that I was holding. So anytime they would tell me something, it's like immediately I'm like fighting back and I'm angry. I don't care what you're saying, in through one ear out, like, you know what I'm saying? So I would say like, I know it's going to be hard, but I would say I feel like in the end it's going to feel so rewarding because you're, like you said, you're doing it for yourself. And I even told her, I was like, I'm afraid for you though, because you don't want to go there. And I told her, I was like, make sure like you're ready, because you don't want to go there and they start saying something that starts triggering you. So then because you weren't prepared, you already, it's a triggering word. So you start acting the way you acted from before and getting rid of all the stuff that you spent growing within yourself. So when you're ready, and
Yeah,
I feel like for me, like when it comes to that situation for you, it's gonna sound weird, but I find myself sometimes I ask you about them randomly, and I'm like, why the hell did I just ask this lady that? Like, I feel like even today, I'm like, did you talk to your mom, or like, have you talked to Aiden, or like, have you seen? Like, I find myself asking you those questions. Like, it's not like, and I'm like, after I ask you, I'm like, that's a dumbass question. Like, I'm like, why did I even ask her that? But like, if you were to ask me, I would say, like, yeah.
I feel like, God prompts you to do stuff that are uncomfortable for you, but he's trying to test your obedience to him. So in a sense, like, yes, it's hard, but again, he wouldn't prompt you to do something that isn't going to bring something better in the outcome. Maybe, I'm not saying when you're going, they're going to be open arms to you, doing or whatever, saying whatever you're saying, but go it with it like, okay, I'm obedient to Abba Father, my first and only Father, above my humanly formed father and mother. I'm obedient to him. And because I'm obedient to him, it doesn't really matter what they will say, because at the end of the day, he's proud of me. Amen. He's the one who loves me. He's the one who cares. So it doesn't matter if like you can say anything, but you know what? It fulfills me that he's happy that what I'm doing is is making him happy. Yeah.
And I feel like this whole time that I've spent just by myself away from them, I feel like looking back at how things have gone and the way I've become now, I feel like wow, low key, no, high key, this man has been building me towards preparing for this conversation with them. And I'm just like, even thinking about it now, I just feel like so like nervous and like scared just thinking about it. Just like, but I can't like I feel like he has been building me and working me towards coming towards that, you know, that encounter and just going through it. And I just
I feel like you might not feel like you're ready for it. But then again, like Melissa said, he wouldn't prompt you to do something if he felt like
You're
you
not
weren't
ready.
completely ready. And obviously, this is not something like nobody's telling you to go catch a flight tonight and go out there right now. But it's more of like, all right, he feels like I'm ready, so I'm gonna make sure that I feel like, you know, that I continue to pray about it and continue to ask him for that grace and continue to allow him to let me be ready for that conversation. So once you decide to go to have that conversation, it's like it's gonna be easy regardless of like what they say back, because again, it's for you. And you know, you don't want it to get in the way of like, because what also made me like think about the situation more is like the fact that like you haven't seen your brother in so long, and obviously it's not necessary. I mean, I wouldn't say it's your choice because he's, you know, like legally he has to stay with his parents. So it's not like y'all could have like up and left with him. And it's hard because you can't just go there and ask to see, because, you know, he's still a kid. Like he has to go everywhere with like your mom and dad. So like you would have to see them if you wanted to go see him.
Yeah.
So I feel like now it's like, he's like, all right, like you're ready to have that conversation and you're ready to reconnect, you know, with your parents and stuff like that. And even now, like even sitting here having this conversation, sometimes I catch myself and I'm like, I'm grateful for even like the parents, like I said the parents, like as if my parents, you know, I'm very great. Like nowadays I've become very grateful for them because obviously like I see your situation and then I see Melissa's situation and it's like I couldn't even imagine sitting in the seats that they're sat at. So why would I sit here and say, oh, I don't like my mom, I don't like my dad, and have like a resentment towards them when it's like at the end of the day, that's a blessing to have.
Yes.
So it's like that also brought me more peace. So yeah, like it's just.
Yeah. I feel like also we have to talk about that it's okay not to feel prepared or not want to. Jesus was supposed to die on the cross and he literally asked God the day before, it was like, child, I don't want to do this. Like, I don't want to do this. But like, if this is your will, let it be done.
Yeah.
He said that. So it's okay to not feel prepared. Moses, he was like, God, I stutter. Like, I am not, Pharaoh? Heck no.
You want me to go where?
No, I am not talking to those people. Splitting the Red Sea. Noah did not
You
feel
said put the stick down and do what?
So and it's okay not to feel prepared. But at the end of the day, being like, God's with me. He's holding my hand in this. It's okay. It's
I feel
okay.
like you could find a lot of strength in just wanting his will and his will. Because I literally saw a TikTok about it and this girl was saying like, it's hard sometimes to like trust God or even like give your trust up to him. And that's why all the time I pray, like I'm like, I give all my burdens to you and I just put my trust in you and stuff like that. Because if you seek his will, you're literally like everything is gonna happen. Maybe not in the way you would want them to happen, but it's gonna happen in a way where it's like all your prayers are answered.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't question it. So yeah, just.
And what I can say, I've had one of those tough conversations with my father. And not in a place of like, again, I was also prompted by God to do that because I didn't have that with my mom. Like I didn't have that set, like, okay, this is how I feel. I don't want it to happen with you.
Right.
And yes, the conversation didn't go like, oh, hey, open arms. We're happy now. Right. But at the end of the day, he took out something and I took out something. I can go to heaven and judgment day like, yeah, like I tried.
Like you got something off your chest and it felt good to finally release it. So that's probably how you're going to feel as well. But
yeah, this is the end of the episode. So what y'all claiming for this week?
I'm claiming God's love. I'm claiming his love just wash over me and just just I want to become even more reliant upon him and just seek him out more when I'm feeling scared and just trust in him. Because, you know, I pray for these things and then I get confused when he comes to answer them. So I want to be strong enough to understand and receive his word and be able to deliver it and follow his guidance and follow his rules, and I just want to be able to be like, yes, God, I followed your directions. I'm listening to you, and I just want to be able to just be obedient and do as he says. That's all I'm doing. I mean, allow it to be easy for me to do what he says.
You know what?
It's becoming malleable.
So when you were saying that, Holy Spirit like spoke to me, and he was like, how you're asking that, but you're asking it and you want me to, I'm trying to say how he said it to me. Help me. He said that you're asking me for the love and you're asking me for the strength, but how can I give you the strength with no trials?
God have mercy, please, Melissa.
That's how he said it to me. How can I show you your strength if there's no trials for you to, you know, show and display that you have that strength? It's in you. It's just within the trial for you to figure it out.
God have mercy on me, please.
But anyways.
Amen.
Now you're going to see the judge.
See how God, he's so quick. Look how give me a break, God. I hear you. I'm trying. But yeah, that's for me. I'm just thank you.
That's all you can say.
I'll do it. I promise I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna do it. I'll do it. Thank you. I'll
You'll hold you to that. Don't front.
He gonna make me do it. I'll do it. If not on my time, his timer.
Well, I'm gonna wait. I didn't even say what God was trying to show me.
Oh yeah, what has he told you? What
Oh,
he
God.
trying to tell you, please. Sorry.
He's been trying to tell me to like okay. I don't have terrible anxiety, but like I get like really anxious when it comes to certain things. Like I asked God for a certain position, and he gave it to me.
Amen.
And I didn't realize how much attention this position came with. So like he's really been showing me like it's okay. Like he's literally been like, cause I'm just used to like being around people I'm comfortable with, or like being in situations where it's just like, oh, I know like this person's gonna be right here if I need him. But like no, like he literally threw me in the middle of nowhere and was like, yeah, adios. Your friends are not here. Your parents you can't call nobody. Nobody about to come help you. Nobody about to come like save you. He's just been telling me like he's been showing me that I'm okay to just be like grow by myself and be by myself.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was Keith.
Look at God. I'm about to
sorry.
turn off whatever elevator he got with you.
Look, she about to look what he about to tell you. Look.
Ooh, okay. He said he's trying to cancel out the fears that you had in your past.
Yeah. Yeah.
Amen.
And he's using your blessings as a way for you to cancel out those fears.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Because literally even like last week, like Friday, and that was last week, I was supposed to go to this event, and I don't really like going to like certain places alone, and I knew this was something that was really important, and I've been putting it off. I've been like, oh my God, like I don't feel like I could go in this room by myself. And like it was literally
look how my God is working. He's working overtime.
And mind you, the week before that, I thought it was the week before that, like the day of the event. So I gathered my cousin, I got my friend with me. I'm like, girl, we about to go. We go, they're like, it's the wrong day. It's supposed to be this Friday. Not like not the Friday we went. So I'm like, shit. So then the Friday comes up and now she can't go. And my friend can't go. And I'm like, God, if you want to make me a nervous wreck, just say that right now. Please just say that right now and scream it to me in my ear. You know, he screamed in my ear and I was like, oh my God. And then I was on the verge because this event, like, I've been putting it off, not for like weeks. I'm talking about
she's been telling
months.
Me, yes.
Like literally since January. Like, no, I'm not even gonna cap. Like, literally since January. Like, I kept getting invited. They're like, come. Like, they give me RSVPs. They're like, come. And I'm always telling them, I'm like, guys, you guys want to come? And they're like, yeah. And then, like, something happens. Or, like, I just get too nervous. And I'm like, no, never mind. And, like, literally that Friday, I was like, I'm gonna suck it up. You're gonna go. What's the worst that can happen? And it's gonna sound embarrassing, but I was literally pacing back and forth outside the building. And I was like, do I really want to go inside? I was like, I don't want to go. So then I went to where I parked my car and I sat in my car and I was like, I don't know if I want to go inside. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to go inside. So I went inside and it was honestly the best experience I've ever had in my entire life. Like, I literally got to meet so many cool and amazing people. And I got to connect with the people in that room, man. I was like, I can't believe.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Man, don't apologize for God's word.
What he got to say now?
Saying you need to, and he keeps, I don't know why he keeps telling me to tell you this, and it's so often, he wants you to spend more time in him. You need to start praying more. You need to start reading your Bible more, because that's when you're going to find your relief.
Yeah.
But that's so crazy, Valentine.
No, that's literally insane. Like, and I would, like, bro, if you asked me 3 weeks ago, after what happened in Atlanta, I was never going. I was not going. I was not going nowhere.
But look how things happen when you just follow his will.
Yeah. But for this week, I claim peace. And I always claim peace because there's too much ruckus in this world. So I claim peace and a better understanding. What else? What's to come, I guess?
I claim just figuring out like what in specific God wants from me, at least in this season. Because right now I'm just going off assumption. I don't really know for sure. And also just being able to find more strength in him and allowing for his will to be done. So, yeah.
Is that it for today? Oh yeah.
Well, I claim that whatever he wants me to accomplish, let no distraction stop that from happening. Because a lot of the times, and I've noticed that whenever I'm trying to get closer to God, some man come try to bother me. No, it's always, I'm telling you, it's always, I can tell you so many instances where I'm like, I'm getting close to God, and it's then a man.
The devil is a lie.
And I'm like, okay.
The devil is a lie and he got blue eyes.
But
nice
yes,
teeth.
So I'm putting it back to sender. Devil, I know your tricks now. You ain't gonna use no man.
You can't trick me no more.
You can't trick me.
Yeah.
No man to distract me from God's fulfillment in my life. But yeah.
I really feel like we're about to meet like, we'll talk
No,
about this later.
go ahead.
No, like I was just saying something.
I was gonna say I don't know if we did what we learned. I mean, because I feel like I learned something. I don't know.
Oh no, we could do that. I mean, we are an hour and 40 minutes.
What?
Yes.
Well,
So
when
like
God,
literally
when
30
God
minutes.
speaks, God
God speaks, but you know what?
Okay, I'm gonna just keep it short. I just feel like
It's not gonna be short.
no. I really promise. Like when I was explaining to you, because when you asked like, what is God trying to teach you right now? And I was explaining to you like I really don't know. And then I started like explaining into detail like maybe he's trying to, for my future, blah blah. It's so crazy. Like I never came to that conclusion until we had this conversation. Like this whole time, I literally was like, I don't know what's going on. So I feel like now, again, I'm going off assumption, but I like now after seeing that, like I really do feel like that's what he's trying to get at. And be like, girl, get in your books. Like, stop being. You was mad that your grades was failing, but you're still not. Like, I'm giving you time to do what you was asking for, and now you still sitting here on TikTok, and you're not. You know. So, yeah, I feel like I just learned that. So,
you know what I learned from after this whole conversation? I feel like I learned that, or maybe like a note I'm gonna try and implement on myself and have you guys like maybe we can all do it. I learned that maybe it's good to like. Maybe have a time like write down things that have happened in your life, and then once you're writing those things down and you look back, you're able to see the changes that have happened, how God has helped you. Like right now, like you said, like for you guys, like you didn't know how you got here until you look back and you're like, wow, that was a whole year ago that happened. So like maybe I'm like. Just I don't know. I think it'd be good for us to like sort of like
that's
look at our timeline.
I saw somebody made like instead of a vision board, it's like a prayer board. So you make a board of like everything that you're praying for like that year or whatever, and then obviously like you go back.
Oh my God!
I think Stephanie's talking about the same thing, but like the sad side.
The sad side? No, just write
just
that happened.
I thought she was talking about all the depressing shit that happened to you. And write it down.
No, she's talking about all the things that God has done in your life.
And I was about to say, yo, we about to be crying again.
This happened this time. Just major events and like. I think like once you're able to, because in the moment you don't know, you don't really have the clear but like after you look back, like, oh, this happened and this happened, this, I'm like, damn, that was God working. Like he set me up for something. Like, where is this leading towards next? Like, I don't know. That's what I just felt like real quick. Yeah.
I don't know. I felt like I learned. Did I say something already?
Not what you learned.
I felt like I learned from this conversation. I learned a lot about. Does this sound like I learned a lot about myself?
No, really, because once you start speaking it out,
you're like, whoa.
Did I just?
Yeah, because I don't really like. Not give myself flowers, but like I don't really like see what I do as like or what I've gone through as something like I don't know, like significant. And then saying it out loud, and I'm not a crier, and I was just like, oh my God, what the fuck?
You're like, damn,
that's tears. Really, and you know what's funny? Like when that whole thing happened, like I didn't cry. Like I did not cry. So this is probably the first time I cried about it.
It's a season of crying.
Yeah.
It's a season of release.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, that's what I learned, and yeah.
What I learned? I learned that we are a bunch of strong people. That it's different looking at. I'm y'all have told me the stories, but like listening to y'all's testimonies, this is not some average stuff. Right. Like it's not. No. This is people are crying. They don't know God and they're crying to be like, what am I doing?
Right. Looking for that solution.
And it's just so funny how we have him and there's a scripture in the Bible. I forgot his name, but God told him to marry a prostitute. And he said, the reason why I told you to marry a prostitute is that's how I feel about the church. Like I'm married to the church. I'm married to Christians, but they go out there and they seek other things. But what they want to seek should be me. And it's so funny that we have God, and sometimes like we go through stuff where like, oh my God, I don't know what to do. And it's in different situations where like we know what to do. We have God. He tells us what to do, but we don't sustain ourselves.
Straight DMs.
No, yeah, he's been DMing me so bad. He's been DMing me.
He's texting you heavy.
No, like
airdrop.
I'm telling you, it's actually.
You didn't see the airdrop?
No, sometimes it's like it's been scarier more lately. I'll tell you later about this stuff, but it's been scarier more lately. I'm like, whoa, that's weird.
Yeah. We hope you guys enjoyed today's episode and you learned something from it.
share your testimonials with us.
100%.
Yeah, of
How has
course.
God spoken to you?
Yeah.
All that stuff, and we will be praying for all of you guys.
Yes.
Hope you guys have a blessed week. Whenever you're watching this, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Listen on Spotify, Apple Music.
Yes.
I'm Apple Podcast.
Apple Music.
I always, but
And turn your notifications on so you know when we're posting. Thank you very much.
Follow us on
Also
Instagram,
Instagram.
all that, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye, y'all.